If you've ever played any online game and interacted with other players, you probably know what Ventrilo is. In the early 2000s, voice over IP programs skyrocketed in popularity because it was an easy way to communicate. Almost every single guild, or basically any group of people who wanted to talk to each other while playing a game, would use something like Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or Mumble. Today, we're going to take a look at Ventrilo, which back in the day was the most widely used communication program for gamers, or at least from my experiences. Almost everybody used it. Older games didn't really have a built-in push-to-talk feature or anything like that, so most people had to use a separate program to communicate, and Vent was the go-to program and the most popular one during its time. Now, obviously its popularity dropped off significantly over the years, and nowadays a lot of younger gamers don't even know what it is. So what happened to it? Anyway, Ventrilo was released in 2002 by a small company named Flagship Industries. The first version was 1.00. From 2002 to 2007, they released a bunch of new updates to improve the software. They added things like private chats, voice targets, user access rights, improved the binds feature, a better layout to make it easier to navigate, and even created a separate version for the Mac operating system. During this time period, the rise in popularity of games like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Counter-Strike, all these games encouraged players to play in a group and communicate with others. As a result, Ventrilo's popularity also drastically increased. Back then, everybody was using either Ventrilo or TeamSpeak, and later on, Mumble when it came out in 2005. But what made Ventrilo the top dog was because it was very user-friendly. The interface was very basic and clean, and everything was laid out nicely. TeamSpeak and Mumble had more features with things like noise cancellation, linking different channels together, a lot of customization options, better access control to give certain rights to different users, unlike Vent, where everyone is basically a user or an admin and nothing else. Vent's simplicity and lower CPU usage were its main attractions. In the early to mid-2000s, not everyone had a supercomputer. Most gamers just played games on a regular work desktop with no graphics card and limited RAM, so having something basic, easy to use like Ventrilo was more reasonable than a more complex program that took more processing power to run. However, Vent's lack of features and its lack of updates would ultimately be its downfall. By 2007, Flagship released Ventrilo version 3.00, which is the version that most people are familiar with. But then, after 2007, it took them 10 years to release another major update. It wasn't until 2017 when version 4.0 was released, which gave it a complete makeover. They added new features like targeted file transfers, more customization options, users can now upload their own profile pics, more control features, and more channel features. But at that point, it was already way behind and lost its niche in the market. Other VOIP programs nowadays are faster and more efficient than ever, and Vents just fell behind in the race. Additionally, Discord leaped ahead of all the other traditional VOIP programs because anyone can create a server and use it. You don't need to pay a few bucks a month to host a server like with Vent, TeamSpeak, or Mumble. Everything is free, all you gotta do is click a button to create your own server, that's it. Discord also puts together all your channels in one tab very nicely. Everything is organized and easy to find, and you don't even have to download it. You don't need to go through the hassle of downloading a separate program. You could download the desktop or mobile app, or you could just log in through your browser. There aren't any fees or anything, just create an account and that's it. On top of all this, nowadays most games have a built-in voice chat feature, which is more convenient than going out of your way to download Vent, which is very outdated to begin with. Pretty much the only people who use Vent now are the ones who are used to it and have used it their entire lives. It's natural for people to stick with things that they're accustomed to. But over time, as that generation passes, it's going to die eventually, if it didn't already. Also, I still think Vent had the best sound effects out of any other program, so that's one reason to use it. Man, that was really nostalgic. Alright, that's all folks. That sums up the video. My name's Andy, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.